Greetings. Greetings, definitely wholeness vibrations. It's good to see you here. Thank you guys, you new watchers, you new subscribers. I appreciate you so much that you're coming here and indulging us. Hopefully this will definitely meet some of your needs of what you're looking for and what you where you are spiritually, mentally, physically in hearing. They that have an ear, let them. They that see, let them see, right? It's opening up that self, applying knowledge to self. It's really all of this is kind of the filtration of what the if you ask me what is this channel about, this would be what this channel is about. So I 2 days ago, and thank you for the watches. Clayton Holmes interview went well. We did one. We will be connecting and doing two. And also, I have an upcoming. I'm going to set this up as I speak it into existence. I will definitely, before this is uploaded, I'm going to let Charles know that I'm scheduling in him, and Vina already wanted to come back again and do another part, which we will do early next week. Awesome. So in the past, I've talked about this, and we're going to go. What are we going to call this? We're going to call this. Let's call this a connective vibe. It has a little bit of etymology in it. I don't think I'm going to share and pull it out today. I'm going to cover some things I've covered before, but along with this. So I brought out a word that's caught fire, a lot of listens. It's called discernment. And I brought out how discernment in that video was something that was connected to you that would give you the faculties within to see, separate knowledge and sides into the fact that you're able to divide certain aspects from the other side of it. Um, your faculties of discernment allows you to have this, I call it, and I had mentioned it. Think about this. I put discernment, empathy, revelation knowledge, right? Intuition, imagination. Think about that little five pentagram example I gave you right now. All right. And then besides all the clairlescence, clairvoyance, and all the claras I did, there's five claras, and if you go look at it, you'll see that the five claras are definitely out there. And as they're out there, they're connected to you. And why I'm saying this, well, we can look at this in different things. You've been given the faculties within you. Actually, almost like this is something you're seeking something outside of you when you really were given the equipment within you. You're equipped. You're equipped with these aspects, intuition, right? And I even looked at it with empathy. I mentioned on the video recently how empathy. Think about it. You feel the pain of others when you don't experience what they don't experience, and how that transcends an aspect of knowledge, right? And physicality. And you're being very transitional, metaphorical, going into other zones to feel somebody else's pain like you felt it, but not have the physical experience they did. So you have that empathy. You have this word of knowledge, right? We talked about this discernment. You have these different, you have this discernment, maybe having you distinguish correctly between two or more situations that you're able to discern something that's for you, not for you, and maybe something for somebody else and what's not for somebody else. And you may be able to give them a word to lead them out of a certain situation or self. Most of the time it's self, right? And and then of course the intuition, knowing things without proof that you know them, because within you it just you know that you're a knower, know that you know that you know that you know something. And a lot of times I've even brought out how the intuition, you can't prove the intuition, but many times what the intuition told you will manifest in the physical at a later time for the proof to be in the physical area of the physicality. But you knew within yourself because you've turned on these equipments. What I'm saying is, instead of looking at what we don't have and having lack of gratitude, right, and having lack of you think you might lack ability, you concentrate really more on your yang or yings to the other side of you that maybe be more you look at negative or things you need to work on. You're working it on it, clean it out, but you have these other aspects of you're cleaning it out that you have in you that have been given to you to use, and let's call them a superpower if you want to. They're your superpowers, whatever yours is. Your clairvoyant, clairlescience, and there's 5 clairs, and I can't remember them all word for word what they are now, but those aspects are there. You got intuition, you got empathy, right? You got intuition, you got empathy, you got discernment. All these different aspects of yourself, which is energy, frequency, and vibration that gets you, in the old days, they used to call it ESP, extrasensory perceptions. They are being brought out of you. They are actually being turned on at this time. There's a releasing of many people being awakened. And when you make the shift of awakening with these, and you start relying on these, and these are your foundations of your software within you that have been put in with you. You came equipped with them. They just had to be found within you. And then you need to just go in there and turn the switch on. How do I activate my knower? How do I activate my clairvoyance? How do I activate my whatever yours is, right? Definitely empathy. Actually, the empathy, intuition, right? Discernment, getting revelation knowledge and enlightenment without you being taught it, but you know that you know, getting a word of knowledge, knowing something before it happens, where no, even people were going, how did you know that? I only knew that. How did you know that? I only knew that, and I never told anybody. If you have these things, can be turned on within you, not to brag, right? Like some people, how do you, the ego really is not connected. It will try to falsely clothe them as it belongs to them, but the ego can't do this. This is another facet of yourself, and the deeper, higher self of yourself, that you've been giving these like equipment. Like think about it. You have all these valves in your car, right? You have different parts of your car. That's the water part, right? That runs on the water, and different fluids, and different parts of the engine support different parts of how the engine works and being combustible to take off and to maneuver and to move the way it needs to move, right? And when you drive it, this is also you in the physical. We call it karma, right? Karma, the car mom, if you can say that, but definitely a karma vehicle. You have vehicles within you that you can use that are like GPSs, right? That you can measure with them, that you can actually measure your temple, measure your thinking. And these are things that you're supposed to use. And the more you use them, the more you become adept, not a rookie, but you become mastering them. The more you use them, the more you're able to access them. So think about this. If you're superhuman, like these are superhuman, some people would say, they've been there. I think the superhuman thing is because we've been so down, down, dumbed down. They don't realize that because we're operating on just departmentalization of ourselves, right? And we're not really actually being taught these things that are within. We're always being kept outside the playground, playing outside of ourselves. That when you start activating yourself within and you start practicing these practicing, you start seeing that you have all these kind of superhuman gifts, Superman gifts, Superwoman gifts, whatever you want to, if you want to use those terminologies. I usually don't, but some people do because they are kind of can be called that. But I think they're more natural and more connected than we've been led to believe, because people have stayed outside of themselves and we've been propagated to stay outside of ourselves, right? Just facts. That's why we uncensored. See my back, it says uncensored. Uncensored, West Coast D-boy, uncensored, with a big mic in the top above my head. Look at that radiation, like the spikes, right? Like the sun's blooming upon my head with some technology that opening up the understanding that crown chakra, right? Look at this, awesome. I like that. Look at that. And you got these aspects of yourself that are very, very powerful. And you wonder how you can help people. Help yourself, activate yourself, see changes within yourself. So my last thing I'm going to get you, and this is really what it's going to be called. I wanted to marry this in there, marinate that, what I just talked about, your incredibleness, your gifts galore that you have to activate. Meaning you got to come down the tree, right? You got to go under the tree and unwrap the gift and put it on. Turn that electronics on within you if you want to use it. Computer kind of thinking. You had this when it came with you, right? It came assembled with you. Is this will go hand in hand with it to the next level. This will open up this, even open it, and even open it some more to you have access in higher planes with it. But here's it goes. Are we seeing a glitch in the matrix? Are you seeing a glitch in the matrix? Do I see a glitch in the matrix? Does he, does she, do you see the glitching in the matrix that's been happening? Are you aware there's a glitching in the matrix? Do you have deja vu moments that seem to stop time? And you go into this different place as you deja vu that you've been there or experienced this before, as you glitch the matrix. And then as you see the glitching going on, do you notice the buffering? That something's trying to slow down the program? Do you see that? Do you feel that? Do you experience it? Because that's what you're doing by glitching the matrix. You're having these experiences that take you out of the timeline of the algorithm that you're running on. And one of the biggest proponents and the ways to do this is to make changes. You start glitching it. Nobody reads your mind, and a system in the matrix really doesn't read your mind, but it will read your algorithm. It will read your temperature, but it really won't read and comprehend because it's not in the program. When somebody takes the program and rewrites it and makes changes, no longer do you get up, drink your cup of coffee, read the newspaper, maybe say a prayer, maybe even meditate, maybe even stretch and breathe. But you start not eating breakfast, not eating coffee. You go for a walk first, then you come back and do the deep breathing in that. What am I saying? I'm saying the habit changing is how you start glitching it, because it really rewires it to really not recognize Danny, D-boy, West Coast. He always does this. Today he's not. Yesterday he didn't do it either, and we don't really find him in the algorithm. He's broke habits. The more you break habits, and why? Because you're in a creative field of aura and energy that's around you. Whether you know it or not, if your third eye sees it and recognizes there's energy around you. It's an energetic field that's open for your creativity. If you don't really get what you want in it, you get what you are. And you go, what do you mean? If you are always talking about lacking, nothing's working, you will get lacking, nothing's working. If you become gratitude bound, and you just lay that foundation of gratitude daily, 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 and make these changes, mindset will, your field starts recognizing that and starts changing and starts harnessing that energy of the change and the habit breaking and the creativity instead of the negative thinking and the cursing of the selves, which the field's not recognizing good and evil. It's recognizing energy, what you put into it. It's really neutral. We've talked about neutral in the past here, how we even need to be neutral so we don't go into judgment. We need, and our greatest power is in a neutral field. If we use the field within us and the field around us in its neutral field, and we concentrate on our neutral field of being creativity, looking astounding, living in gratitude, living in praise, loving, kindness, thanksgiving, preferring one another before yourself in certain situations, right? You start doing this, you start seeing these changes start happening, and you're glitching the matrix. And now the field in the matrix has to start obeying you because you can create in it and start working on another reality that you walk into. You start taking a step, and if you don't see the step, the creation of your matrix, that your energetic field, that magnetic energy, guess what it's doing? You take a step, you don't see it, it appears. You just created it. Not fear-based. When you're always putting yourself under judgment, depression, lacking, guess what happens? You create that in the field. And like I said, you don't get what you want. Like the Rolling Stones said, you don't always get what you want. You'll get what you pay for. And if the field is that you're paying it backwards with judgment, criticism on yourself and others, you're creating this field and then wonder why the field don't change, because you're It's honoring what you put into it, and that's what you get back. It's a mirror reflection of a universe. It's a mirror reflection of what we live in. It reflects. Notice if you go look in the mirror, right's left and left's right. When you look in the mirror straight forward into yourself, right? Left's right, left is right, right's left on the one side of the mirror. But when you start looking at that, then you have many mirrors reflecting. You have different angles and perceptions. What it's reflecting back to you is always going to be what it's reflecting you're putting into and giving it back. So if you start reflecting the gratitude, wholesomeness, and start making changes. What do you mean? Changes. Change habits and behaviors up. Do it. If you do something, change it. Flip it around. Make the changes. This is a glitching the matrix. When you glitch it, it really can't run this program. The field's given to you to create. Now, don't curse yourself again, because the matrix will give you all you want. But also, when you start creating it and you're given the gratitude, love, creativity, a unity, and oneness, it will give you what you are. It will give you that back too. That's where you can hijack the hijacked. If it's been hijacked, you can hijack it. If it's been low jacked, you can low jack that energy field back to you. Not 6 feet apart from yourself or others, because that's the volume of the vortex that we have in us, right? We're living in this this energy field that's going like this, and then going back down and up through us, right? It's going like this, and then it's going like this. It's the torus field. It's your energetic field. Whatever your energetic field recognizes, that's what it draws to you. So do we glitch? It's glitching. I've seen it glitching. I've experienced it glitching in another higher volume. I've had visions and seeing it glitching is when I'm walking outside. I've seen the glitches. I've seen the deja vus where I know something and I recognize something, and I've even seen myself in other places at the same time in another dimension, just real quick, less than a second. But then I seen a glitch. I said it glitched it, and it recognizes glitches, and it doesn't understand what I'm glitching. You're glitching this deal. You're glitching the matrix. Yes, it's glitching. Are you glitching it? Are you recognizing it? Are you making the changes? Are you recognizing your fullness of your empathy, your discernment, your intuition, your clairvoyance, your ESP, your telekinesis tapping in, your telepathic? I know many of you experience telepathic in certain levels with others that are on that wavelength. It's all frequency and vibration. Look up frequency and vibration. It's that frequency coming out of that right west coast. See that frequency above it? Almost like the sun patterns, right? When you see the pictures of the sun, the crown of thorns, the sun rays coming out. That's got you on that one. Another revelation. That's what I'm saying. Do you have revelation knowledge? Do you get enlightenment? Do you get those those moments? You see it. I see people. I know they get it when I do it. It's so much joy unspeakable when I see them getting, because I realize that they're seeing something and they're getting something from that faculties within them that they have. You have it all. Activate. Let's glitch the matrix together. Let's make the necessary changes for ourselves so we can glitch and start being the creators of the reality that we are. And the more we press, we know the other side of us, that negative side of us, comes out even more. The thing that can be your weakness in that. But remember, don't judge yourself to your weakness. You're always working on that which is weak, because your weaknesses can become your strength. That which is weak is strong. That which is strong can become weak. Remember that. It's a balance. Balance that. Think about that. Don't judge yourself too harshly, but take full responsibility. That's a balance. Don't judge too harshly, but take responsibility. That's a balance. Take full responsibility, but don't judge yourself. But you judge yourself. Just have a righteous judgment that certain things happen, but you're always working at it. And then don't always look what you did and what you haven't done, but what are you doing and how far have you came? How far have you came? What are your accomplishments? If you were to write a resume and include everything you did in your life, is a glitch the matrix, meaning, hey, I never acknowledged that I did this. And you don't have to get paid for it. It could be volunteer experience. Any little experience that you have that connects in certain aspect that you did for community, for friends, for people, for jobs, for businesses, the community. And you may not ever got paid from it, but you have that experience. It's a resume. It's a glitch. Glitch it. Gratitude. You've accomplished more than you thought. and you're giving yourself less credit than you thought you did. You're actually judging yourself harshly, holding yourself accountable, but also give yourself a lot of grace and leeway because you're working on it, because this light shining and emitting so much now, right now at this time, for people on a certain level, they are. That they can't hide from their shadows. They're not going to listen to David Bodie running from the shadows, right? In the golden years anymore. No, they're not going to do that. Why? Because they're becoming golden, because they're seeing that shadow self and they're letting the light admit it and they're accepting it. And that's a whole nother thing about dealing with accepting your shadow self. Accept it, but like the ego, don't let it run you. Hear what I'm saying? The egos are brilliant and so good. Not the ego, so per se, it's the ego's more a vehicle, arbitrary, right? In certain aspects. Don't judge yourself so harshly. It's like this. If your emotions are your leader, and I've said this 1,000 times, if your emotions lead you, they're a freaking taskmaster. They're really a taskmaster. They'll take you and beat you up, whip your ass. I said a bad word. Oops, they'll whip you. But if your emotions serve you, they're so beautiful. They're as sweet as some homemade lemon meringue pie by grandma. That good, not too tart, perfectly tart and sweet mixture coming together. The yin and yang comes together. That would be you. If it serves you, it's beautiful because certain emotions will cleanse. But when it's ran by ego, it can be a dictator in your life. Put it in its proper perspective, even the lower self or the other side of you. It's all connected. Feminine, masculine, connected. All the division, what me and Clayton talked about, is really a unity in the reality of the reality. But in the interval of the physical to illusions, it's not. Because when you just keep playing on the illusion over and over, illusions become people's truths. But this is D-Boy. This will be called glitch. This is called glitching the matrix. You guys have a good one.